My 36 male wife 34 female has been having an affair with her own brother, and I realized our son might not even be mine. I don't know how or where to begin. This is a throwaway for obvious reasons. My wife and her brother has always been messing around. They were the type of siblings to take joking a bit too far sexually. New people who meet with them have always said that they are the type of siblings who you would think are married if it wasn't for them being brother and sister. My brother-in-law lives very close to us. He is divorced and has 2 daughters who live with his ex-wife. My own wife very often takes over our son to his place, and also very often visits him herself. This is something I never ever had anything against. After all, they are brother and sister. It wasn't until recently when my 4-year-old son told me Mommy and Uncle Tommy, let's call him, that had been kissing on the lips that I got suspicious. Apparently my wife had gotten angry at our son for no apparent reason for having seen this, and she had told him grown-ups do this as a gesture of love. Now, I understand hugging or kissing a sibling on the cheek, but in my 36 years on this earth I don't recall kissing my own sister mouth to mouth. That is just disgusting to me. Tonight I did something which I never done or felt the need to do before. And I checked my wife's phone only to find a load ton of messages between her and her own brother. Most of it is just regular chat. Nothing special. But after having scrolled through a ton of messages, I find sections of intimate pictures between them, and even messages such as horny, want to come over for a quickie, and similar sentences. I am grossed out by the sheer imagination of my wife having had sex with her own brother, as this caused me to imagine ever having kissed any of my own sisters, which is disturbing to say the least. Having sit here now thinking about what to do, I can't do anything but to think my own son might not even be my own. So many times have I heard how he looks like Uncle Tommy, and just looking at his face makes me believe this even more. I am really at a loss at this point. I have no doubts about what she has done, but I can't imagine also having lost the only thing that meant more to me than my own life. My own blood. My son. I feel like just jumping off a building or taking my own life if he ends up not being my child. I want to divorce her, but I don't know how to go on about finding out whether I am the father or not. I really don't know what to do if I found out my son wasn't mine. After reading several comments, I decided it is best to not confront her now. My wife has been asking me multiple times what is wrong, and I just told her I am not feeling well. I can barely look her in the eyes at this point. The only reason I am keeping it together is for my son. I wanted to go and sleep at a hotel, but it would just raise too many questions on her part. So I will sit in front of the TV and sleep on the couch. Edit 2 had no idea this post would spiral out and get this many responses. Thanks, I guess. I won't be reading more PMs. I have gotten way too many of them. Currently staying with my sister. I decided it was not a good time to confront my wife yesterday. So I just told her I will be moving in to stay with my sister for a few days as she needed help with some stuff. My sister lives about 30 minutes away from us. I have told everything to my sister, and she thought it was best to meet with a lawyer. We scheduled a meeting today. He will be helping me with the divorce and has also offered to help me get a paternity test, read some comment about a guy who did a paternity and got the wrong result, which is why I will get it via a court. I will be getting a divorce for sure. This is not something I will ever accept or can forgive. It's beyond F-ed up. To the feminists out there who messaged me and told me to step up and forgive her. F you too. I will confront her, but I can't tell when. Probably tomorrow. My sister wants to come with me, but I won't let her. I will head over there by myself and let her know what I found out. We'll see where it goes from there. Update. Was going to leave the update here, but my life has been an emotional roller coaster the past days, which is why I never bothered to. I decided I couldn't confront her the next day. As ridiculous as it sounds, I wouldn't have been able to keep my emotions in check, and I don't know if I would black out and do something stupid. Which is why I didn't want to face her face to face at the time and instead decided to wait. I also realized that as disgusted as I would be if my child happened to not be mine, I would still love him to death, and I can't imagine a life without him. This is just something I will eventually have to come to terms with. If I get told he isn't mine, I still want him to live under my roof, and to be my son. That will never change in my eyes. Sunday evening I called her letting her know I will be coming over with some documents on Monday and asked her to be home at a specific time casually. Of course she didn't know that I know anything. At this point, I then did the following. I printed the screenshots I had of the conversations and 3-page letter of what I knew about the situation and how I felt about it all. I also added a list of things I wanted from her along with the divorce documents my lawyer had written up. The main demands were the following. She would have to agree to take a paternity test. Whether or not he was mine, I would get full custody of our son, not dependent on what the paternity results show. She would need to sign the divorce papers without any discussion, and that she would need to accept the financial terms that my lawyer had written up in the agreement, which I deem were completely reasonable and fair considering the situation. Yesterday I drove over to her, handed her everything and told her to read through it all when she was by herself. She was behaving very shaken up as she didn't really understand anything of what was going on or what I meant, and kept asking me what was wrong and what I was talking about. I told her she will understand everything soon enough and that everything is written here. Then I got back into the car and left. She didn't cry or anything. She just had a very confused look on her face. About an hour later she calls and I pick up. She is having a mix of emotions of crying and anger. Partly that I had no business checking on her phone and such. But what surprises me the most is that she didn't deny anything. And just apologized. She kept saying this agreement is nothing she will ever sign and that my terms are ridiculous. Only thing I told her is that I will give her until Wednesday to sign the paper, or else I will be showing and telling everything to every one of our friends' family, her parents and people at her work. Her crying turned more into anger and she started screaming over the phone, so I hung up. I haven't really responded to anything call since and am just waiting until tomorrow to get signed documents back. We'll leave an update tomorrow or the day after depending on what happens. Before you say something to her, get a paternity test done. How can I get a paternity test done without her knowing? From what I have researched, you need samples from both parents and the child. Second story. My 24 female boyfriend 25 male had a bizarre reaction upon meeting my sister 23 female. Neither of them will tell me what's going on and it's driving me crazy. I'll get right to it. BF and I have been together for almost a year now and our relationship has been great so far. He's my dream guy and I honestly couldn't ask for someone better. I always felt that we were both honest and trusted each other. At no point in our relationship did I sense that he was being unfaithful or doing something he shouldn't. Last week he came over to have dinner with my family. My parents know him well and adore him. However, it was the first time he met my sister, or so I thought. For the record, I don't have a great relationship with her at all. She's manipulative, aggressive and batshit crazy, to put it mildly. The only time she contacts me is when she either needs 1, money, or 3, my help to get her out of trouble once again. I don't have a clue what's going on in her life most of the time and prefer it that way. Anyway, after dinner BF and I were in one of the guest bedrooms when my sister walked in. She arrived late as usual. As soon as he noticed her, his whole demeanor changed. He looked surprised but then very annoyed. It was obvious he was trying to act indifferent, but it wasn't working at all because he absolutely lost focus of what he was doing. My sister's reaction was also weird. She immediately said "oh hey" in this fake innocent voice and started giggling. She had this huge ducking grin on her face and asked me where I found him. They awkwardly exchanged greetings and then she left the kitchen again. Of course I asked him WTF just happened. Like, do you know her or something? He vaguely said that she seems familiar and kept beating around the bush. I asked if they had sex and he immediately assured me that they definitely did not hook up and that I shouldn't worry. Later that evening I asked her in private if they met before and did something I should know about. She wasn't being serious at all and kept telling me not to worry and all that BS. However, she swore they never hooked up and I actually believed her for once. If they did have sex, she'd definitely rub it in my face. I asked her if she owes him money or something and she said no. Side note, as we were about to leave later in the evening, BF said that he forgot his wallet and needed to go back inside. At the time I didn't realize, but now I'm almost sure he went to talk to her. For whatever reason. It's really frustrating being in this situation and I can't stop thinking about it. I've brought it up several times and he just keeps changing the topic or telling me that nothing happened. Doesn't that sound crazy suspicious? I don't want this to affect our relationship, but I feel like I don't even know him anymore. I'm tired of begging for explanation at this point. Should I have a serious discussion with him or just give up, move on? Too long didn't read. My boyfriend and my sister have met in the past. Neither of them will tell me what happened. I'm quickly losing trust in my BF and find it unfair that he's being so secretive. Should I give him a chance to confess everything or just move on? Third post. I 28 male with fiancé 27 female about a month ago overheard her tell a friend her previous ex was the best lover she ever had. It was quite by accident that I heard this. We had a group of our friends over and as the night went on we all kind of busted out into little groups. Some of us were in one room playing Texas Hold'em and a couple of others were watching the Lord of the Ring marathon. I thought she was watching the movies, but she and one of her close friends were actually sitting in the kitchen drinking coffee and talking. Our group had run out of soda, so I got up to go to the kitchen to get drinks and a couple of snacks. As I am rounding the corner I hear my fiancé talking and before I completely come in the room I hear her clearly say Jason is great but he will never be the lover that Bill was. She then followed it up with it's not really fair to Jason though. Bill was just really gifted down there. At first I thought about just walking back into the card game and pretending like we didn't have any extra soda or food, but I decided to kind of make a noise and go in. Her friend caught eye of me rounding the corner and I could see her make a face to my fiancé letting her know I was there. Of course she has no idea I heard her and she just stops talking to her and asks me how I am doing and if I am having fun. I was tempted to say something like I am having as much fun as someone who is not gifted down there can, but I didn't. I just said yes and proceeded to get my stuff and go back and finish the night. I just acted like nothing was wrong the rest of the night and went to bed. Needless to say, it ducked me up. I mean ducked me up bad. I've never been jealous or what you would call insecure about myself until that moment. I couldn't sleep that night and I went through a myriad of emotions while laying there. At first I was angry, then I was humiliated, then I was depressed, then I was angry again. Look, I realized that the male ego seems stupid to women and even guys who are totally self-assured. I would have agreed with most of this prior to that night, but once it has been damaged, it is a bitch. I tried to hide any form of emotion about it or ever let her know, but as the days went on I just kept getting worse and worse. I was avoiding her at all costs, and while she was suspicious she didn't really say anything. That is until she attempted to be intimate with me a few days later and I flat out rejected her. It wasn't by a conscious decision on my part, by the way. I had made the decision on my own to just try and get over it and move on. But in the moment, instead of being sexually aroused, I felt deeply inadequate and ashamed. Nothing was happening no matter how much either of us tried. She asked me what was wrong and I just told her I must have been stressed from work, but she would not believe that or let it go. So much to my humiliation, there I laid, naked in bed, unable to get an erection. I came clean and told her what I heard. Well, this did not go over well at all. At first she tried to tell me I did not hear her correctly, but I just repeated to her verbatim what she had told her friend. Well, once she couldn't deny it, she then tried to apologize, and to her credit she tried to listen to my feelings on the matter, which once again I am sure was more of a big turn-off for her because I was a wreck emotionally. She tried to tell me how much of a better person I was and how I satisfied her and she wanted nobody else, but all I could hear was Charlie Brown's teacher noise. It's been almost a month and I have zero desire to be with her sexually. None. She is now getting frustrated about this as well, but no matter what I have tried I just cannot get past this. It's not like she said we were both good lovers or anything like that. She clearly said he was far superior, and my guess is that being gifted down there means he was significantly larger than me as well. Well, I know I can do all kinds of things with my hands, tongue and whatever else, but no matter what I do I can't grow in size. Obviously she refuses to talk about that with me, saying that no matter what she says it will only make things worse, because even if she says something positive about me I won't believe her. She's most likely right. Some backstory here. He dumped her. It was not a mutual breakup. He flat out dumped her and broke her heart. I know this because early on in our relationship she told me this. She said she wasn't ready to be serious about anybody because her previous ex left her and emotionally broke her. So this is not a case of me even being able to say, well, she's with me because she wants to be. If he hadn't dumped her she would never have left him. Now I have no idea if after all of these years she would leave me for him if he would come back, but I don't think she would. I just don't know what to do here. I can feel myself checking out of the relationship. I know this is petty as shit, but hearing the person you love tell someone else they prefer to have sex with someone else is just devastating to me. Her telling me all of my other good qualities has only made it worse because she is saying things that I think appeal to her and maybe other women, but being told I am a good provider and will make a great husband makes me feel like shit. Like what would happen if I lost my good paying job, or better yet, what if I were to get injured and couldn't make anything more than state assistance? Would she be there to support and help me? Basically what I feel like right now is a really good friend who she just allowed to have sex with. I know in my head that this is not correct, but in my heart that is what I feel. I am sorry for the length here and I don't even know what I am asking here. I am totally lost, and if this continues I just think I am going to break our engagement. Too long didn't read. Heard fiancé tell her friend that previous ex was superior in the sack, presumable due to size among other things. Relationship has gone to hell since and I need advice. Edit. Holy God. I made this post last night and answered a couple of questions and then went to bed and got up today and went Christmas shopping hoping to make me forget my troubles, and didn't even log in until just now. I have not even started to read the at this point 7.7 thousand comments on this post. I don't know what anyone has said yet, but thank you all for commenting either way. I am now going to begin the massive undertaking of looking at the comments. Also thank you for the gold and silver kind internet strangers. Edit. To dear God. I read all the way down to the bottom of the page thinking I had gotten through most of everything, and then at the bottom it said load the 5.5k more posts. I am stopping for the night. Well, morning actually. I was going to respond to people individually, but there is just no way. I haven't even started reading the direct messages to me yet, nor have I opened any of the 20 chat screens. There are issues I want out there because there are a couple of things that are being said that are not accurate. She was to use the Barney Gumble phrase using sweet drunk talk. In other words, her and her friend were drunk while talking. Nope. Neither of us drink. We don't even have it in the house. That I am upset, she told her friend. Well, this is an odd thing. Before I posted this, honestly I wasn't that upset about this part. I was then and am still far more upset that this is how she feels. However, now reading a lot of the post I have become somewhat aggravated that she did share this with her friend. I would never say anything about her to anyone that would put her in a lesser light. That I am an insecure man-child who should just man up and learn to do better. Well, I am certain the first part is true. Being insecure and all. But the last part is just out of my control. No matter what I do I will only ever be 7 long. We have talked about this, by the way. When she was trying to build me up, She said that I was already great with everything but the one thing I can't control. Okay, so I gave myself about a half inch to feel better. No, I am not going to do anything rash. It's already been a month, so it's not like this happened last week. But yes, I have to decide what I am going to do here before long. It's not fair to either of us, as I am just coasting through this and no longer committed. She is sorry that I heard it. She said she is sorry she said it, but at the end of the day she would not be sorry if I didn't catch her saying it. It is what it is. But yes, I do believe she is regretting it because she has basically been a mess since I first told her. Me not wanting to be with her is bothering her a lot, according to her. I don't know how much of that I believe, but right now I guess I don't know why she would lie. It really has wrecked hell on our Christmas spirit this year, I know that. Edit 3 engineer for those who keep asking what I do for a living. She is a paralegal. Edit 4 people have been asking about the relationship with the ex and how I know she was heartbroken. We met about 9 months after they separated. I know that ultimately he wanted to be with someone else, although she has claimed he never cheated. He just ended things so he could be with another woman. She approached me at a local workshop and we started dating. On our 4th date, when things started to get physical, she broke down crying about the ex. It was certainly weird to hold someone while they cried about someone else, but I did it. We sporadically dated for a couple more months, in which time I never tried to cross any boundaries physically because it was obvious she wasn't over him, so while we just went out of dates I tried to keep myself of the mind that we were just friends because I didn't want to commit either. After close to 2 months, she drags me from my car to her apartment and begins to tell me how much she has appreciated my patience with her and how she felt stupid about dragging me along for so long. Obviously that was our first night together. Within 3 months of it, she is telling me that she loves me. So yes, she was still hung up on her ex for fact when we got together. I had hoped she was over him before this happened. Hit like if you enjoyed this video. Consider subscribing to our channel.